Since this week's video lands on Halloween, I thought it would be fun to create some scary / spooky music. I'll explain the difference in a minute, but let's just get to it. So today I want to show you guys how to make two different types of scary sounds. So there's spooky, which is more like corporate, family friendly, like a holiday movie basically. And then there's scary, which is like, menacing, serial killer, tense kind of vibe. Thought it could be cool to make one of each and then break down each one and kind of show you sound selections and effects that I'm putting on stuff to see like how exactly you make these sounds and see if you can learn something out of it for yourself as well, and just to have a little bit of fun on Halloween. So let's get to it. For the first one, let's focus on the more happy, like spooky, whimsical kind of thing. The way I described this sound to my wife was if you were playing a mini golf video game and you were on a course that was themed around like Haunted Mansion or Halloween or something, this is the kind of sound that you want. I didn't want to add drums or really anything to it like that because, like I said, I wanted it to be kind of whimsical, low energy, like, just almost like spooky video game menu music, right? So I don't want it to be like too lively. So let's go ahead and break down some of the layers. So we have this low bells pattern. And basically all I did is I took the high pattern and half timed it. And it gives it this like low, like kind of dark sound. And then we have the original bells I put in here. So that's actually the first layer that I started with. And then after I had that layer, I actually added in these pizzicato strings right here. This is what really gives that like spooky, kind of campy vibe, but in a good way. And you'll notice there's some stuff like a lot of it is on the grid, but you'll notice that a lot of it is not on the grid. That's just to try to make it sound a little more human. And then we have a cello. That's just to give some like dark vibe underneath. And we also have a sub bass to go with that. Then I have this like harp sound that was a string pad, but let's go ahead and change that to a harp. That way I have it labeled properly. And then that sounds like this. I have an auto pan on that, so it kind of like ducks in and out, kind of like gives it movement. But then also I have just a little bit of the like pitched warp thing I was talking about earlier, and that's with this. I have the mix turned down this much. And then what else we got? We got an auto panner that one auto panner is the phase is set to 0, and that's just to give it movement like volume. And then the other auto pan is set to 180, that way it can like go around you like with movement in that way. We got this pad sound here. And then we also have this higher pad here. And then we also have this lead synth. It's not exactly a theremin, but it's kind of playing the role of a theremin, kind of. So I'm going to play everything together here in this part here. This one's pretty simple. It just comes down to instrument choice, some music theory, and effects not so much. I think on the other one we're gonna see more effects. Stuff like this can be really fun to make, and when you step outside of, you know, like pop, rock, rap, R&B, and kind of make library music like this, it can be a lot of fun actually. So that's how you get the like more whimsical, happy, family-friendly, spooky kind of vibe for Halloween. Now let's go ahead and change things up and go over to the more scary serial killer side of Halloween. So to quickly compare at least my vision of the two examples I'm creating here, is the spooky version is a little more busy and a little more whimsical, and the scary one is more drawn out and eerie and spacious, kind of, where it's more atmospheric with like drones and basses and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Let's go ahead and break down the layers. So the main theme through the song is this pedal tone that I created. Pedal tone is used in all kinds of movies and trailers and stuff. It's just basically a note. Normally it's piano, it doesn't have to be though, and it's just kind of like playing the same note over and over again, and it's kind of creating a pattern in your head. So it's just a patch in Omnisphere. It's like a reverb piano, and it sounds like this. just the same note over and over again. But to make it sound a little creepier, this plugin here is Isotope Vinyl. It just adds like a vinyl sound to it. You can introduce crackling or anything like that, but I use it for this to add warp to it. And you can kind of hear how the pitch is like wobbling a bit. So now that we have that, I go ahead and put an auto pan on it, kind of like I did in the last thing, to just add a little bit of movement to it. It's just moving between the left and right ear. You may have to have headphones on to notice that. And then we put on a little auto filter. Brightens the sound up a little bit, adds some more movement. And then the last thing that I did is I automated the send that's going to this return track that is doing a half speed and then more wobble with this here. So it sounds like this. It doesn't happen on the first note, but then it starts to happen on the others. There's like an unnerving effect happening where you're hearing that low and it sounds warped and creepy, but then it cuts instantly. It kind of makes it a little like tense and uncomfortable, and that's what we want. Moving on to the next sound, we have this low pulse synth. Kind of has like a feedback feel to it. Again, just trying to add like that unnerving sound. Then I added this low bass synth, and it just works as the bass to carry and thicken the sound throughout. And I'm sure you're already starting to notice, but it's very basic patterns for this. I'm not trying to overcomplicate it or make it too busy. I just want to keep it very straightforward. Then I added these keys, which kind of adds like a second motif. And I did the same effects that I did to the pedal tone on that, so it's doing that half speed thing and the wobble and all that stuff. Then I added this like kind of chilling ambient pad. Kind of like a creepy chilling air with like a digital kind of sound to it as well. Then I went ahead and duplicated it and made it pitch down. But this pitch down version, I added little like those little pops, those like glitches in there, and as you see, it's like spaced out a little different. But when they play together, it kind of has a cool back and forth. So to kind of ramp up energy into this section of the song, I created this little reverse perk swell thing and then used a little cinematic like whoosh into a hit. So it sounds like this. That's just to add some impact, some drama to it. The last layer I added was this percussion loop that's kind of just adding like a little bit of bounce. Again, I didn't want to add too much drums to it or anything, so it's just adding this movement. Now that doesn't sound like much, but in the context it kind of gives it like a cool pulse in the background. That's basically it. There's some subtle changes throughout it, so like changing the octave of the pedal tone or changing the position of this theme here. And let's try to actually add an impact here for a stinger. I mean, that's basically it. you know? Hopefully you guys found this video entertaining. If you want to see me create any other genres or types of library music, drop a comment below. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.